Hello, everyone, and welcome. Are you ready to really boost your vocabulary? In this explainer, we're going to break down 25 challenging English words and make them super easy to understand. This is going to help you feel way more confident on your standardized tests. Now, to make these words really stick in your memory, we've put them into 5 simple groups. Thinking about them this way, in these themes, is going to make remembering their meanings so much easier. So, let's get started with our first set. Okay, so this first group of words, they all have a kind of secret code hidden inside them. And once you learn this one little piece, I promise, you'll unlock the meaning of 5 new words all at once. So here's the secret. When you see the letters C-I-R-C-U-M, circum, at the beginning of a word, I just want you to think around. That's it. It's like a key that opens up the word's meaning. Let's see how it works. Okay, let's really dig into these one by one using our key. First up, circumspect. Well, spect means to look, so being circumspect means to look around carefully. Before you make a big decision, it's always a good idea to be circumspect. Next, we have circumquitous. Think of an electrical circuit. It's not a straight line, right? A circuitous route is a path that goes around. You might say the taxi took a circuitous route to avoid the traffic. Then we have circumscribe. The word scribe means to write or draw, so to circumscribe something is literally to draw a line around it, which limits it. For example, the new law circumscribed the company's power. Fourth is circumvent. This is a cool one. It means to find a clever way around a rule or a problem. You know, like when the students tried to circumvent the school's dress code. And last but not least, circumlocution. This is a big word, but it just means talking around a topic instead of being direct. When a politician doesn't want to answer a question, they often use circumlocution. See how that one root, circum, helps us understand all 5 of these words? All right, let's move on. Our next set of words is all about how people act and speak to each other. You know, from the really harsh and negative stuff to the kind and positive. These are fantastic words for describing someone's character or the tone of a conversation. Think of it like this. On one side, you have words that feel like a storm. They're harsh and critical. On the other side, you've got words that feel more like sunshine, gentle and polite. By learning them as opposites, you'll find they are way easier to remember. Let's start with the stormy words. Okay, let's look closely at these two, because they're similar but also really different. Censure is all about using strong, official words to criticize someone. Imagine a boss who censures an employee in a formal letter for a huge mistake. Now, chastise is more about punishing someone. A teacher might chastise a student by giving them extra homework. So remember the key difference. Censure is strong criticism, and chastise is punishment. It's words versus action. You know, these 2 words really go together perfectly. First, we have choleric. A choleric person is someone who gets angry really, really easily. They just have a short temper. And what happens when a choleric person gets angry? Well, they might use caustic words. Caustic literally means something that can burn you, like an acid. So caustic comments are sarcastic, mean, and designed to hurt. An angry, choleric person often makes caustic remarks. Okay, let's switch gears to a much, much kinder word, clemency. Clemency is simply mercy or forgiveness, and it's usually shown by someone who has a lot of power. For instance, a judge might show clemency to a criminal by giving them a shorter sentence. It's a pretty formal word that you'll often see in legal situations. And the last word in this group is civil. Being civil just means being polite and courteous, especially when it's hard to be. Think about 2 politicians who disagree on absolutely everything. If they can debate their ideas without insulting each other, they are being civil. It's really about showing respect, even when you disagree. All right, on to section 3. Here, we're going to learn some awesome words to describe different types of people and the social groups they make. You can think of these as labels for different characters, whether you're reading a book or just dealing with people in real life. Let's explore these 4 really useful labels. First up, a charlatan. A charlatan is a total fake. They pretend they have skills or knowledge just to trick people, usually out of their money. You know, like someone selling magic medicine that does nothing at all. Next, a clique. This is a small group of friends that's really exclusive and doesn't let other people join. You see cliques all the time in high school movies. Third, cerebral. This word is all about the brain. A cerebral person is very intellectual and logical, not so emotional, and a cerebral movie is one that's complex and really makes you think. And finally, charisma. This is like a special power of personality. Someone with charisma is just so charming and inspiring that people naturally want to follow them. All the great leaders usually have a ton of charisma. Yeah, this is a perfect example of something a charlatan would say.
See how they make a huge, impossible promise, make you smart forever, just to get your money? They're really good at taking advantage of what people want or what they're afraid of.
Okay, we're making great progress. Time for our fourth section. These words are all about time, what's real, and what's fake. And guess what? Just like in our first section, we have another secret prefix that's going to help us unlock their meanings. So here's our new secret weapon, chron. That's C-H-R-O-N. Just like circum means around, chron means time. It actually comes from the Greek word for time. So whenever you see it, your brain should immediately go, okay, this has something to do with time. And a perfect word to start with is chronicle. A chronicle is really just a record of events, all written down in the order that they happened. In other words, in chronological order. The timeline you're looking at right now, showing a company's history from 1990 to 2020, that's a simple chronicle. All right, let's look at 3 more words in this group. First, using our time root word, we have chronic. If a problem is chronic, it means it lasts for a very, very long time. Someone might suffer from chronic back pain, which means it pretty much never goes away. Now let's look at 2 words for things that aren't real. A chimera is an impossible idea, a fantasy. The dream of a world with no problems at all, that's a beautiful chimera. And finally, chicanery. This is the use of clever tricks and deception to cheat someone. A dishonest politician might use chicanery to win an election. And just like that, we've arrived at our final section. These last few words are for some really big ideas and powerful actions. Mastering these will seriously elevate your vocabulary and make you sound much more advanced. You know, sometimes you need just the right word to describe a really big feeling or a powerful action. So how do we do that? Well, this last group of words is going to give you exactly what you need for those complex situations. Have you ever had that feeling? That's catharsis. It's that sense of relief you get after letting out a really strong emotion. Crying during a sad movie or even yelling into a pillow when you're angry can be a perfect example of a catharsis. Afterwards, you just feel cleansed and better. Okay, this next one is super important. You have to pay close attention to the small c. When the word Catholic is written with a lowercase c, it has nothing to do with the religion. It means universal or very wide-ranging. So if someone says you have Catholic tastes in movies, it just means you enjoy everything from comedies to horror films to documentaries. Okay, let's look at 2 more important words here. They aren't related, but you'll see them a lot. First is celibacy. This is the state of not having sex or getting married, often for religious reasons. Next is chasm. A chasm is literally a deep, deep crack in the earth, but we often use it as a metaphor. If there's a huge difference of opinion between 2 groups, you can say there is a chasm between them. And here we are, our final pair. And what's cool is that they're basically opposites. To coalesce means to come together and combine into one big thing. Just think of little raindrops on a window that slowly coalesce and form one big drop. It just happens naturally. But to coerce someone is the opposite of natural. It means you force them to do something, usually with threats. A bully might try to coerce a student into giving them their lunch money. So you see the difference. Coalesce is unity, and coerce is force. And there you have it, 25 brand new words. We've learned how to talk about going around things, being harsh versus kind, describing people, and talking about some really big ideas. The most important step, though, is what comes next. Try to use just one of these new words today. Seriously, that is the best way to make them a permanent part of your vocabulary. Thanks for watching, and good luck.